Hi, welcome.
Hi.
So I have a couple of subjects that I'd like to talk about tonight in the cold open. So the wife and I were watching Ghosts. It's a BBC sitcom about a bunch of ghosts, and it's set in this haunted mansion, and the main character, who's played by Charlotte Ritchie, has inherited the house from a long lost relative who has died, and for whatever reason she's the only person in the family tree who can inherit this house. In one episode, which is called Free Pass, a film crew come to film a period film in the house, and basically what happens is the main actor is her free pass, meaning that she can sleep with him if they ever meet or whatever.
Okay.
She's married, by the way. So my wife turns to me and she said, who would be your free pass?
I don't have one. You're my free pass.
I said all those things. I immediately said, I had my mouth full and went, it's a trap. And so she made me say things. Because,
what do you mean she made you say
because she
things?
listed off a bunch of hot guys, and then I was like, well, right, fine, if you want to fucking do that.
No, that's how they get you. See, this is
the trap.
textbook.
That's
this
the trap.
is textbook.
That's the
She
trap.
says all the names of the guys, and you say, darling, from my perspective,
I tried.
sleep with every single one of
tried.
them. I'm not interested.
We were already on the episode after that when she finally broke me. So I lasted about half an hour.
Wow. What
Yeah.
was she needling at you that whole
She would
time?
not stop. She just
Needling.
kept on at me and on at me. But anyway, she named people like James Fraser
Now, Mr. Sassenach, I must have you.
from,
Well, I mean, I'd
from
fuck James
Outlander.
Fraser.
Well, so would I. And then she said Ryan Gosling. I mean, to be honest with
I'd
you,
fuck Ryan Gosling.
to be honest with you, we've got all these men in common, to be honest, So,
Mhm.
and then she said Wentworth Miller, and I was like,
Yeah, Shosh as well. I'm not
I
so
don't
interested
know what
in
it is
that
about
either.
Wentworth Miller. And then she gave me a few others. She said McDreamy, and then there was a whole list of them. I'm like, all right, okay, let's just ease up a little bit. Whoa, pump the brakes there, darling. Anyway, and then she made me come up with a whole bunch. So I said people
What
like,
do you mean she made you? Did she twist your arm behind your back, or did you just want her to shut up?
you're married. You know what this is.
She doesn't make me say anything I don't want to say.
No, you just
I
got
just
no
say
filter.
stuff. I know. I'm like, she doesn't have to waterboard me to get nonsense to come out of my mouth.
I always get waterboarding and motorboating mixed up. And
That is an unfortunate thing to mix up, Jonathan.
It is indeed. Because now I have an image.
So go on. What was the names? Go on.
What were my names?
Yeah.
I said Carrie Fisher in Return of the Jedi.
Fuck's sake, of course you did. Go on.
Yeah, I said Jennifer Lawrence.
Okay.
Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I don't know. That's a long-term thing that I've had since I was a kid.
What's
I don't
her
know
name?
why. Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio.
Just the amount of times you would have had to Google that with the word nude afterwards to remember that name so well is just incredible to me.
Shh. Don't give away all of the trade secrets. Okay, should we start the episode?
Do you feel sorry that you brought this up now?
No, I really do. I'm actually starting to sweat.
Some of the other things you wanted to talk about.
The other thing I wanted to talk about is that today the movie that we're going to watch is called Arachnophobia.
Oh.
So I wanted to ask you if there are any movies that spring to your mind that cause you to get the shivers because of phobias. And now I've written this down because bear in mind that we started talking about doing this episode about 2.5 months ago.
Fuck my life, yeah.
And so I wrote this about 2.5 months ago, but I never actually wrote a list of movies. So you're gonna like come up with a bunch of things now, or you're gonna say, oh, I don't know, Johnny. Let's just move on.
I got one.
And then
a
you're
few.
gonna turn it back around on me, and I'm not gonna have a fucking clue. So let's just agree that I'm crap at this. Go on.
Well, hang on a minute. Let's not agree. I think that's a great question. Things like Cliffhanger, anything with like heights in it.
Yeah.
Like the Mission Impossible, right?
Yeah, the
Four,
Ghost Protocol,
where
when he
he's climbing
steps
the
out
Burj
onto
Khalifa.
Yeah, as soon as he steps out and the camera goes over the top of his head and you see the drop. So I have a thing about Cliffhanger. It's not Cliffhanger. It's a spoof of Cliffhanger. And
What, in Spy Hard?
No. It's Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls. And for some reason, that when you get that kind of like ache in your feet when there's like a height thing. So that does it for me, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because I care more about the raccoon than the woman that Sylvester Stallone drops.
I can see that, yeah.
Okay.
Like 8-legged freaks because arachnophobia.
Really? Because
cartoony.
8-legged freaks is like early CGI. So
when
that
I was a
me.
child,
yes,
it would bother me.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So any movie with
any kind of like anything that makes your skin crawl because of a weird thing that you have.
A weird thing that I
mean,
have.
it's a weird thing that like
I get really freaked out by Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Really?
Yeah. There's like this whole thing where Sean Connery's got his umbrella out and he like runs through all the birds.
Oh, it's the pigeons.
Yeah, and the pigeons freak me out.
Oh, yes.
Because I just imagine them coming out the screen at me.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, I've got a thing.
But wait a minute, actually, no, it would be all right because if they came out of the screen at me, then Sean Connery would be sure to follow.
Right.
And then I'd be hanging out
pumping
with
his
Sean
umbrella
Connery.
in your face and making all the pigeons, fly at you.
Yeah, but then after the trauma.
After the trauma.
Me and Sean Connery would be, how'd you get back in the telly? You can't. You have to be my friend now. You can sleep on my couch.
Open a bottle of scotch.
I'd like to go round Legoland with Sean Connery, and then afterwards we go for a lovely lamb lunch in the centre of Windsor.
Gotta say, Roy, I don't think that's Connery's cup of tea. I think Sean would rather do something like wander around the Wildfowl Park in Pepperstock with a bottle of scotch.
I don't agree. He'd go to Legoland. Bye.
Oh.
So I have this thing. I was watching Titanic a few days ago, and there's one scene that always makes me kind of gag.
Yeah.
And it's because I have this repulsion about like hawking up phlegm and spitting.
Yeah.
And so that scene, I was actually eating when the scene came up. I knew it was coming. I don't know why. Maybe I thought, like, it's been a few years since I last watched it. Maybe I thought I'd changed. But, like, they start spitting and I was like, oh. Like, he's going,
Yeah, I don't like that either. I don't like it when people
scene.
hawk in the street, like, in front of me. It's disgusting.
But also any of those scenes in movies where people spit in food, or, like, that scene in Memento where she spits in his beer.
There's like a scene, I'm trying to remember, it's a scene in a movie, one of those sort of like high school makeover movies where, nerdy teenager becomes beautiful thing.
Oh,
and someone hawks a
She's
loogie
All
into
That, maybe?
Yeah, that one.
No, there was the thing with like pubes and pizza. What was that?
Pubes and pizza?
It was the guy that played the Shermanator in American Pie, and somebody put pubes on the pizza. That grossed me out as well, but not in a good way. Right. No, because there are those things in movies like American Pie where you go, that's just, and it makes you laugh because it's just so gross. But like the thing in American Pie 3 with the chocolates,
yeah,
and it's like really dog poo. That also makes me gag.
It's the other side of taste. And
yeah. But so there's quite a lot of those. But like I can't really think of anything that. I mean, there's the strings in Live and Let Die when they open up the box full of snakes.
Yeah.
That also kind of it's perfect scoring right there, because that's exactly how the music in my head would go if somebody opened a box of snakes.
I'm grossed out and repulsed by kind of Lovecraftian tentacles wrapping around someone's face, but at the same time I love it. So I can't not. I watch those things for that. Like, at the end of is it Prometheus or is it the second one? Where there's the big, like, face hugger, the giant face hugger that's pulling the guy, the engineer.
It's
Prometheus.
Covenant. It's Prometheus?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
And it pulls him in. It's pretty gross.
The trick, William Potter, is not minding that it hurts.
The trick, William Potter, is not minding that it hurts.
Sorry, that was
Was that a quote from the film that we were just talking about?
Yeah, I think I just killed it. The conversation, I mean.
Let's have an episode.
Here we go!
What's
What's our seat number?
Hello and welcome to What's Our Seat Number, the podcast that is a veritable reservoir of charisma. I'm Jonny Gross. I'm a bloke who sometimes creates audio-visual media for money, and I spend holidays at Lallybroch with my Sassenach, airing my family jewels in the cold air of the moors. And with me, as always, is my brother, a 3D artiste, a warrior who refuses to pledge his fealty to me. He's also a madman and a desperate fool at the end of his pitiful rope. It's Simon Gross.
Wow. You know what rhymes with that? Dross.
Okay. And the alternate one is, I'm Kevin, a tree surgeon with aspirations, and with me as always is my co-host, Bob, who is a cat.
I mean, that's amazing. That's a great one.
I mean,
love it.
Either one. Take your pick, editor. Oh, it's me. Today we're going to be doing something slightly different. I am a notorious arachnophobe. I'm a proper spider racist. Well, aside from Spider-Man, the lad's all right in my book. No, he's not. He's a menace. Anyway, today's film is entirely an exercise in torture for me, so I figured, why not record my reactions?
Does it still bother you?
I don't know. I honestly haven't seen it in a long time, but from what I remember, it's... and also, yeah, I watched Home Alone, and I was listening with headphones, and you know the tarantula in the movie has like this kind of... like sound effect when it runs across the floor.
Yeah,
and it went from ear to ear. Ooh. And it made me go, oh no, I don't like that.
Just hearing about it just made me shiver. Actually,
it wasn't that much fun.
So we're pretty scared of spiders. I think
I'm not a spider fan. I don't know. Are you still with this bother you?
I can't stand them.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I've never seen this film.
You've never seen this film?
Yeah.
So I remember.
I thought I'd crack that little piece of information now and not in the 2 months that were leading up to it.
So I haven't seen this film in quite a few years. It's not my go-to for obvious reasons. But I remember back in the day, it definitely bothered me. I'm interested to see what my reactions and comments will be during this thing. So we're going to be leaving this thing running throughout the movie. And let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So movie news, I'm excited.
Movie news.
Hello and welcome to The Muse with me, your host, Holden Malaprocket. In today's top stories... reports from the Australian Zoo of Australians say there are no baboons on the loose after an incident involving a large wheel of cheese. Swedish spectators of the engorged platypus incident reported that they had never seen an animal eat so many Pringles in one go. And 3 bears were found dead in the woods, coked up to the eyeballs on what they thought was porridge, but turned out to be glitter-coloured cocaine. All this and more, it's The Muse.
I don't know if it's the exhaustion laughing or if it's actually me, but anyway, go ahead.
It's funny.
Yes, it's rather funny.
This month in movie news,
yes,
Margot Robbie wants to pass the role of Harley Quinn to other actresses.
Good, it's
Harley's
about fucking
so fun
time.
And can go in so many different directions. It's time to let someone else have a turn.
Good for you.
Good for me.
Well, good for Margot.
But why? Well,
is she handing over the Barbie mantle?
I don't. What?
Is she handing over the Barbie mantle as well?
Well, I mean, she's only had it for one movie.
Yeah. Also, she played Barbie with like 7 or 8 other actresses or something.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the movie. Have you?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Good?
A lot of people really, really loved it. I thought it was amusing in certain areas. The funniest part of it was Michael Cera, I thought. But it was
Obviously,
kind of
the funniest part to you was a man. You misogynistic.
No, I liked the sort of the general feel of it was great. I liked the look of it. I liked the ideas, but it was so overt and so in your face.
Mm-hmm.
They basically came out several times and went, we are trying to attack this issue right now, and here it is. It was like so in your face that it just didn't leave any room for, oh, that was clever, I see what you did there. They thought that they were being irreverent and meta by saying the things that they were commenting on diegetically within the script. So, I don't know. Anyway, go on, off you go.
Mickey Mouse enters the public domain.
Oh, yeah, I saw
which
this.
immediately prompted a flood of trailers for horror games and movies.
Yep, I saw that.
Starring the
There's going to be
a
what's it called? A Boathouse Willie or something? What's his name? Steamboat Willie. Steamboat Willie.
You said Boathouse Hilly.
No. Hilly, you old devil.
John Williams withdraws retirement talk, says he'd compose again if the right film came along.
Yeah, you know why that is?
Because he likes money?
No, because his final film was going to be Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And then it came out.
Like, oh, can't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Everybody hated that one.
I don't know. Also, I'd like to address something while we're in movie news, and this is completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
So I have
This is the place.
I have sworn off socials.
Yeah.
Since 3 months ago. And we all know what happened 3 months ago. I'm not going to go into it, but I've sworn off socials for my mental health. And every so often I check in because sometimes people write to me on my business page. And I check LinkedIn and whatever. And there was a post about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and somebody had written a comment saying, I think that all those people that are complaining about the CGI in the opening are just moaning, and it's all a bunch of nonsense, because it really is great. And I just think to myself, that is, maybe it's an opinion, maybe somebody had an opinion, maybe somebody saw it differently than you did. So, and I just like to say that I was very self-restrained, and I did not comment, which means that I'm growing.
Do you want a cookie?
Oh yes, do you have any cookies?
I do, actually. We have the blue ones from they're not blue cookies, just they're in a blue packet.
Oh, you mean the ones that are the chocolate chip?
Yeah.
So
you got
a little bit later.
And now for our final piece of movie news, the sort of joke ones. So we'll get into that kind of place.
Oh, hold on, do you want that can't go on. Do you want to pass it over to your correspondent for a second, which is me?
I'd like to take this opportunity to throw it over to my correspondent, Woodrow, but don't have a paddle.
Very good.
I didn't make that up. I nicked half of it.
Okay, well then just like scour your memory for Colin Mockery gems.
I think that is one.
It probably is. Okay. After a summer of costumes, crossover posters, memes and more, someone has decided to make an actual Barbenheimer movie. In this case, that someone is B-movie mogul Charles Band, who has figured out a mashup film that will essentially blend the stories of Greta Gerwig's pop cultural colossus Barbie and Christopher Nolan's carefully crafted biodrama Oppenheimer for what could be a fun and low-budget mixture. Boasting a tagline of D-Cup A-Bomb,
no.
The planned film follows Dr. Bambi J. Oppenheimer.
Did you make this up?
Nope. A brilliant scientist doll living in Dolltopia, a world of endless summers and beach parties, and her boyfriend Twink Dolman. Dr. Barbenheimer, incensed by the brutal treatment the dolls receive at the hands of human children, ventures into the real world where she experiences humanity at its worst and naturally decides to build a giant nuclear bomb to take it all out. Back to you. What was your name again?
Holden my lap rocket.
Holden my lap rocket. Back to you, Holden my lap rocket.
Thank you, Woodrow. In a plot twist less than a week after the new year began, millennial dads found themselves in a festive tiswas as the extended edition of The Lord of the Rings The Return of the King was mysteriously removed from the streaming service Max. On Reddit, Lord of the Rings fans quickly pointed out that the movie was randomly removed from Max, despite the extended editions for the other two films in Peter Jackson's trilogy still readily available to stream. Below this story is an important update. It's back on Max. That was movie news.
Movie news.
I got a quiz too.
You got a quiz, so let's do this. Go for it.
This is called the Phobia Quiz. But first, a word from one of our sponsors. The Phobia Quiz is sponsored by Podgy Pet Removals. Do you or your work acquaintances ever find your path impeded by really fat animals? Well, look no further than your friend and ours, the Podgy Pet Removal Team. Podgy Pet Removal, the only fat pet removal team in the world, trained to lift corpulent animals out of their current occupied space and remove them to other quarters using the latest in trowel technology. Podgy Pet Removers, for when the platypus is so large, you just can't get your pram around it.
You had to think of alliterations all beginning with P without your pop filter.
Yeah, I'll think of that next time.
Very good. All right, on with your
so
quiz.
I'm going to name a bunch of phobias. There's no time limit. Take your time to think about it, or, Google it. And you tell me what you think these phobias are. Acrophobia.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Now, once you tell me yours, right, before I reveal what it is, I'll tell you what I immediately thought it was as well.
Okay. Acrophobia. I have no idea.
The first thing that pops to head, what does it sound like?
the fear of M's.
Fear of M's?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I don't know what acro is, but I know what macro is. So they've dropped the M because they're scared of it.
Oh, can see what we're dealing with tonight. I see. Well, I immediately thought that it was fear of acrobatic performers.
Oh, okay, all right.
That's what I thought it was.
It could be. They are pretty freaky.
Yeah, I thought it was sort of like a fear of circus freaks.
Yeah,
that specialize in acrobatics, right?
Okay, that makes more sense.
A little bit more than a fear of M's. Because if you know what macrophobia is, what is macrophobia?
Your fear of things that are too close up.
Really?
No.
I can't. Why? Okay. No, fair enough.
I think I've lost it already.
Your brain is just like
it's
disconnected from something that's usually there. I don't know.
No, it's just mush.
Oh, okay. It's a fear of heights.
Okay, that makes sense. Acrobatics are high.
Not a fear of M's, no.
Okay.
A fear of things being too close. What's that? Macro? Okay.
Yep.
I would say, isn't it a fear of things being too big? Macrophobia.
It could be.
Whatever. Aerophobia.
Is that
AERO?
Yeah, is that not
it's
fear
not a
of
fear
flying?
of the chocolate.
That would totally be my go-to at this point in time. The fear of flying, no?
Yeah, it's a fear of flying. Ding, ding, ding. Algophobia.
Say again?
Algophobia. ALGO.
Algo.
Yeah. Now, I'll tell you what I thought it was when
Okay.
you tell me what you think it is.
Algo. I mean, algo sounds like a...
I'll go to the toilet. Is that what you're thinking?
No, I was actually thinking of like some kind of toilet freshener or like...
Algo.
Or
Why?
Just put some algo in the toilet to
Is that an
like
actual
a bleach.
name?
No, no.
Can I just explain this game for a second? Because I feel like you perhaps have missed the point.
No.
It does not describe
You
the
said
weird
just-
associations.
You said just guess, so that's what I'm doing to the worst of my ability. Go for it, please.
I thought it was.
This is going better than you expected.
I
isn't
thought
it?
it was a fear of algorithms.
Why would you?
Algophobia.
Why would you be afraid of algorithms?
Well, I mean,
I can understand not wanting to like bother with them because it's boring.
Well, a couple on here are sort of like, why is that a thing that has a specific phobia for it? I don't know one why would be. I
mean, are algorithms something that you would sort of readily encounter on a daily basis?
Well, when you're in high school, yes, and then if you decide to go into
so is that
the
like
field
is that like an excuse where you're like, I'm homeworkophobic?
Were you never like sitting in front of a mathematical equation or something and really sort of shitting your pants that you couldn't understand a word of it? Never? You didn't give it.
No, I think that my issue was like a sort of
I was too smart.
Mathematically induced narcolepsy, because I fell asleep during a math exam once, and I got a note home, and it followed me to my next school that they.
What, like a criminal record?
Exactly.
In a maths
exactly.
class?
No. So my boarding school closed.
Yeah.
Carmel College, right? Closed down.
Very important to point out. It didn't close because he was in it.
No, it didn't close because of me. They ran out of money. So that school closed down, and I went to another school, which I will not mention by name, but it had a notoriously monstrous headmistress. Monstrous headmistress, that's pretty good.
Monstrous headmistress.
Yeah, so
is that sort of like the female remake of the Demon Headmaster?
No, I think it was more Agatha Trunchbull, to be honest. So we were sitting there, my parents and I and Miss Trunchbull, and she read off my record, and one of those things was falling asleep in a maths exam. And she looked at me, and she kind of scolded me, and she was like, well, that's not very good, is it? And I was like, what? I was like, what, 13 or something like that? 13 or 14 or something?
Well, I mean, maths is fucking boring.
Maths is fucking boring. But I was like, well, I didn't do it now. And I said I was sorry.
As in, you were apologizing. You were saying, well, wait, you were saying,
She made
I
me-
didn't do
she
it
made
now,
me-
like in this meeting while you're talking to me.
No, she made me feel bad all over again. It was like, what happened to like, I'm moving to a new school. Let's wipe the slate clean. Why are we talking about this now? What's that
I
got to do
didn't
with
know
it?
that in England you have a like criminal record.
Yes,
that
I
follows
had
you.
a fucking criminal record.
We're only on number 3.
Go on, off you go, off you go.
I'm just sort of surprised that you're not afraid of like being sat in front of a. This episode will go on forever. Let's just get on with it.
I wasn't afraid of it. I was bored by it.
Right. Fear of pain is algophobia.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll know this one.
All right.
Agoraphobia.
Agoraphobia is the fear of leaving the house, is it not? Fear of the outside, open spaces?
It can be, yeah. A fear of open spaces or crowds.
Right, okay.
Its root is in the fear of not being able to escape something.
Okay, where does...
So like
These terms come from like Latin or something?
What?
They come from Latin or something?
Oh, I didn't do that much research.
Oh,
I
right,
actually
okay.
didn't think that we were going to spend this long on it. I
Right,
thought
off
that it
you
would be of absolutely no interest whatsoever.
It's valuable. This is good. Off you go.
Okay. Androphobia. Andro.
Andro.
Yeah.
Alejandro. No.
Andro. Where is your brain tonight?
It's mush. I told you.
These quizzes.
The consistency is a bit like snot. Yeah, we got some
We
dishes
got
in
some
back.
pots and pans. Pots and pans industry. Belinda blinked.
Belinda blinked.
Now, androphobia kind of makes you think of the androgynous word. Androgynous.
Nah.
No?
Lost on me.
Okay, it's a fear of men.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is an odd one. I'm going to tell you that I saw this and I went, now that is a strange one.
Right.
Right? Anemophobia. A-N-E-M-O.
It's like anemia, like a fear of losing blood.
Now, wouldn't you think that makes sense?
Right. What is it really?
Sorry, I can't look at this and not think who the fuck is living in this world with this phobia.
Okay, off you go.
It's a fear of air. No, here's
How
the thing.
do you live?
Some of these had very helpful explanations at the end.
Okay.
This one was just those 3 words. Fear of air. Not a fear of air, just fear of air.
I mean, is it a fear of like just regular breathable air, or is it a fear of gusts or...
Again, nothing helpful. Those are the 3 words. Okay, well, you'll know this one. Arachnophobia.
Fear of spiders.
Yeah.
AKA 8-legged freaks.
This one, I think, is really clear from the name. Astrophobia.
Fear of space.
Fear of outer space.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I mean, most
That
people
makes
don't
sense.
encounter it.
No, but
If you're scared of space, then maybe don't become an astronaut, I would advise.
I think just the idea of a vast nothingness that's also a vacuum that you'll die in if you come into contact with
Well,
it
I mean, I'm
is
sure that
frightening
there's
for
like a
some
fear
people.
of open ocean.
Yeah.
Like, for example, watching Titanic a few days ago, the ship goes down and you're stuck in the dark in the middle of the ocean with,
Leonardo DiCaprio.
quite a few hundred feet below you.
The blue version of Leonardo DiCaprio.
She promises him she won't let go, and then
No.
she lets him go.
I promised you that there are a couple on this list which are odd.
Yeah.
This is once again...
Well, fear of air was pretty fucked up.
This is one also that has no helpful remarks afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just sort of drops the mic and walks away.
All right.
Automatonphobia. Automatonphobia. A-U-T-O-M-A-T-O-N-O.
Is it a fear of moving?
Now, that would have made a lot of fucking sense if that was it. Or a fear of cars.
Or fear of cars, yeah.
Or a fear of things that are
fear
autonomous.
fear of
things,
a fear of having.
machines that can
Maybe
think for
it's a fear of
themselves.
having free will.
Maybe.
Fear of having autonomy.
I can tell you it's really not.
What is it?
Oh, again, it's a strange one, right? Fear of human-like figures. A fear of human-like figure. I don't know what a human-like figure is.
I mean, is it a fear of people, or is
no,
it a fear of?
No.
Is
no.
it a fear of things that look human and aren't, like the White Witch?
I mean, could be. Fear of human-like figures. Things that are human-like. Maybe anthropomorphic animals might find its way onto that list.
All right.
Well, that was
the problem
phobia.
is you can't really ask anybody.
What?
Because if you're a human-like figure, i.e. a person, then you can't really get close to them to ask them why they're afraid of human-like figures. Because they'll be afraid of you.
Yeah, it's like the air thing. Like, how do you live? But is it a fear of humans or things that look like they're human but they aren't? Like like iRobot.
Okay.
Right?
That could be it.
Could that be frightening to that person?
Yeah, Alita Battle Angel or Mithrigan.
Yeah, Mithrigan.
Yeah.
Just something to think about, innit?
Werewolves.
There are people in this world who are just scared of, the atmosphere. Just air.
Cats is probably really fucking freaky to anyone who's got that one.
Yeah.
The CGI cats.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's nothing human-like about those cats.
But they're not cat-like either, so I don't know what the fuck they are.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear mine? The one that I carry around in my back pocket?
What was your special one, your bonus one? I'll tell you what I think it sounds like.
Pognophobia.
Pognophobia. Now, a rational mind...
I think it's pognophobia.
Pognophobia.
Yeah.
Like P-O-G-O-N.
I think so, yeah.
Pognophobia.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look, a rational mind says a fear of the collectible pogs.
A rational
mind.
Okay, do you want me to tell you what it is?
Yeah.
It is a fear of beards.
Pognophobia is a fear of beards.
Yep. What's the one that's a fear of clowns? Okay, it's called coulrophobia.
So
Kuna Matata is C-O-U-L. Coulrophobia. Yeah. Anyway, fear of clowns.
Wow.
That one's quite rational, to be honest.
Yeah.
And look at the pictures that have come up on Google. It's Pennywise the clown.
Yeah.
But yeah, pognophobia is something that I've always marveled at because I just think it's hilarious.
So you got fear of flying, fear of open spaces, fear of spiders, fear of outer space. You got 4 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I thought you were telling me I have those phobias, in which case I probably wouldn't function in the world.
4 out of 9.
Well, I got fear of M's, didn't I?
Yeah, you got fear of M's. Wasn't on this list, but I bet it was on someone's list. The phobia quiz.
Shall we do context?
Yeah, sure.
Quickly, before we watch this movie.
Fine. I have none.
You have none?
No, I do have some.
So, okay, go on.
It's very minor.
All right.
I remember Jeff Daniels standing in a shed with a broom, and there's lightning.
You remember that, but you haven't seen the movie?
I remember watching it over the banister.
Ah, okay. So I remember we were in Jersey. There are a few films that I remember that came out. Because we went to Jersey every year for the summer holidays, and a lot of these movies were big summer blockbusters. So they would have come out in the summer when we were in Jersey. But anyway, so I remember the ads, and it was that sort of the poster with the moon and the spider on the web in front of it and whatever, like sort of dangling down. And I remember the trailers, which was Arachnophobia, the last word in suspense.
Hollywood Pictures and Amblin Entertainment present Arachnophobia, the last word in suspense.
So this came out a year before you were born. It was 1990. And our sisters and I were always like scream like women that get up on a table when there's a mouse in the room, or Johnny Depp in Sleepy Hollow.
It's just a spider.
Kill it! Kill it! No, stun it!
That was the situation, and there were always spiders, especially in where we grew up in London. But no, so there was a lot of that stuff. So it was kind of notorious in our house. I was like, oh, we don't watch that, because we're all scared of spiders. And I did see it when it landed on ITV or whatever it was, and I remember watching it, and I was sweating my ass off the whole way through. I think my butt crack was sweating. I was so scared. It wasn't a fun time for me.
Your butt crack was sweating.
Yes, and I don't think I've watched it since. I remember John Goodman being funny, somewhat, and I remember that it had like a kind of. I think the director of this movie is Frank Marshall, who produced a huge amount of Spielberg's movies. Mm-hmm. So I can imagine that it was kind of a Jaws light. Just when you thought it was safe to go in the water, just when you thought it was safe to take a shower, like things like that. I remember certain scenes. I remember the big, like, massive spider at the end being a model, which sort of an animatronic, which kind of took the fear out of it a little bit, like those those weird CGI spiders in Jumanji.
Yeah.
And I remember Julian Sands, R.I.P., who like played like this spider expert, and for some reason is in that shed that you were talking about that Jeff Daniels is in at the end, and he finds the spider web and he starts twanging on the web like a guitar string, and then the spider jumps on his face and kills him. So I remember that.
Spoiler.
So those are my memories of the movie. I just remember like being shit scared of it and not wanting to see it again. So here we are. Should we watch it?
I'm really fascinated by what's happening to your brain. It's like melting or something. It's so funny.
I told you the consistency is a bit like snot.
A bit like snot.
Yes.
This is really fun for me. I'm really enjoying watching you have a breakdown. I don't know. You're having a stroke of some
breakthrough.
kind.
A breakdown.
Maybe this is therapy. I'm ready to start the movie. Let's
all right.
Let's go.
So all right.
Take a quick break.
Yeah. So I'm gonna play the trailer now. So here we go. Have a listen, and we'll go right into the movie.
The Jennings family has just moved to the small town of Canaima.
Oh, Ross, smell that air.
Oh, God.
In search of a simpler life.
Want to blow up a bullfrog? Okay.
It's the perfect place.
Goodbye crime, goodbye grime.
Except for one pesky little problem.
Come with me and look at the web.
The web? I have a
Terrible fear of spiders. Come on, we live in the country now. It's time to work through this irrational, paralyzing terror.
It's not irrational.
Hollywood Pictures and Amblin Entertainment present Jeff Daniels.
Honey, we're in the living room. We need you to kill a spider.
And John Goodman.
Bill McClintock, Infestation Management.
Ooh, I thought it's just a spider.
Would anybody object if I tore this floor out?
I would.
False alarm, then lead on. There's no spider here.
Every so often in a little town somewhere, there is a health scare.
There's a rumor going around that some kind of spider might have killed Sam Metcalf.
Doubtful.
Spiders make convenient culprits.
There's no spider here.
I think one of your Venezuelan spiders hitched a ride here.
There may be some spiders around here that are very dangerous.
Dad, chill out.
Just run.
They spread out from a central nest in a web-like pattern and dominate the entire area. When that happens, this town is dead.
Better uncork my private stock.
Rock and roll! Hollywood Pictures and Amblin Entertainment present Arachnophobia. 8 legs, 2 fangs, and an attitude.
Perk up, Lloyd. If we find the spider that did this, you can arrest him.
Arachnophobia, a thrill-omedy.
Okay, so we just finished watching the movie. What did you think?
It's definitely got a very interesting sort of setup to it, and an interesting. The formula for a long time in the movie is, here's this thing about spiders that bugs everybody, and here's this thing about spiders that everybody. It's like very sort of like observational.
Yeah.
In its sort of approach to the very sort of mundane situations that at the same time like are very sort of common, right? And and then put in that sort of scary in quotations, like kind of
it's playing on
dangerous.
People's phobias rather than sort of all out horror.
Yeah.
I mean, you could also apply that to The Woman in Black, for example, where you've got like dripping taps, and it's just basically asking the question of what would scare the shit out of you being alone in a big old house in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
That has a ghost in it, but yeah. It wasn't as freaky as I remembered it to be. Obviously, I'm a grown-up now, so that makes a big difference. Allegedly. In age only. I noticed quite a few scenes that kind of stuck in my memory from back then that maybe I hadn't fully remembered. That I was like, oh yeah, that happened. Oh yeah, that happened. And there were a lot of real spiders, but what they call Big Bob apparently was the big animatronic general spider. So he didn't bother me so much. Yeah, it didn't bother me so much because it's clearly animatronic.
The situation though makes you go, it's on me.
Especially the ending when the spiders started swarming all over the house.
Yeah. I thought that Jeff Daniels.
I was going to say Goldblum. Yeah, Jeff Daniels. Yeah.
Performance in this film was really good.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I said. He's everyman. He keeps you glued to the screen all the time. He's a really great actor. And then when he has to swing into like action mode, you can see that he's really terrified.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's got that sort of action hero pose with the spade at the end.
Yeah. The shovel.
The shovel. Yeah.
That's not a broom.
Broom.
A broom.
A broom. So yeah, I mean, like some really great. I mean, there's not a huge amount to talk about with this movie. I noted that there was quite a sort of 1-to-1 structure with Jaws. He's a doctor coming into a small town, and they're all very kind of like very suspicious of him. And then he starts going on about some kind of imminent danger, and nobody believes him. Same as Brody in Jaws.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I thought it was beautifully shot. I thought it was well directed. I thought it definitely had that Amblin feel.
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of a monster movie, kind of like Jaws.
But on the low key.
On the low key. Yeah, definitely low key. There's definitely a sleepy kind of atmosphere to it. That like there's a few deaths in the movie, but they're not particularly gratuitous. They're not particularly horrifying. I mean, I think the presence of the spiders themselves are fairly creepy, just if you are arachnophobic. But this movie was really hyped up on release as, like, as I said, the last word in suspense. And I was kind of wondering why this movie isn't more popular nowadays. It doesn't get talked about a lot. You don't hear a lot of people talking about it. And just from my memories of it, I remember it being horrifying. I remember it being exciting, action-packed, whatever. But the action doesn't really pick up until the very end.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a problem with the setup. I love the fact that he's establishing the characters and giving them time to breathe, etc. But I thought that perhaps in the, what was it, an hour and 45 minutes or so, hour and 50 minutes, the movie, that perhaps it about 20 minutes earlier, it should have started ramping up to a sort of more energetic kind of a pace, to where it got when he crashes through when the spider starts surrounding them in the house, and then he crashes through the termite ridden floor.
Wood.
And into the basement, and you have that whole sort of tete-a-tete with the Queen and the General and Jeff Daniels' character. I mean, I can see why it's kind of almost like one of those movies that's kind of throwaway that you go, oh yeah, that was nice, but it doesn't seem to hold a particular place in the
pantheon, in the
general movie loving public's heart. As you know, like I'm fairly certain that if Arrow came out with a 4K, sort of a limited edition release or something like that, I'm fairly sure that it would become a popular release, just because catalog titles that get special editions usually are.
Yeah.
So I would say that it's kind of one of those movies where you're like, oh, that was nice, and forget about it the next day. Yeah.
I mean, don't really forget about your arachnophobia, but you will forget about this arachnophobia.
But I'm saying it's not something that would have disturbed me to my core. I mean, I chose this as a watch along because I thought it might be funny, but there's not a lot of like reaction to it really, because
it's very going on.
It's very PG. It's very PG.
Yeah. I was expecting a little more. I expected the movie to have the same intensity as the basement scene all the way through, right? For most of it.
Which, by the way, Spielberg, if Spielberg had directed it himself, it probably would have done. I mean, look at Duel and look at Jaws. Like he's able to manage the peaks of a graph, of sort of like a suspense graph, and maintain it along a runtime while
Pacing.
while giving like rests in between. Like he's a master at that stuff. Frank Marshall didn't direct a huge amount of movies, but I think he was competent here, and his cinematographer did an excellent job as well. I thought it was beautifully shot. But yeah, that's my take on it. I think that even if we hadn't recorded the watch along, I wouldn't have very much more to say. So we'll go over to Trivia Corner. The safety of the spiders was paramount throughout the entire production, so for one scene where McClintock, played by John Goodman, had to spray an arachnid with insecticide, then squash it with his boot, the production went to extreme measures. First, a dummy spider was sprayed. Then John Goodman donned a special boot with a hollowed-out sole for the squash shot, so that the spider would just curl up inside and wait for the next take. And I've written here in brackets, The safety of spiders fucking would.
It's very interesting. They hollowed out the sole of the shoe so that it could just wait for the next take.
So that when he stepped on it, it would...
No, I understood.
Yeah.
I'm just sort of... So it would wait for the next take is a really interesting...
Yeah, it's an interesting way of wording it. Like, I'll be in my
to
trailer.
Go again, Barry?
Yeah. Though Jeff Daniels claimed he was fine with small spiders, he acknowledged that anyone in his right mind would have issues with spiders as huge as Big Bob.
They said, do you have a problem with spiders? I mean, I have no problem with little daddy long legs, little, guys like this, But when you got things like this, like this, I think anybody in his right mind would have a problem with that.
However, John Goodman wasn't fazed.
I don't have any problem. No, we see each other eye to eye. We understand, well, 2 eyes to their 16. But we get along swell.
Nutcase. The small spiders used in the film were Avondale spiders, a harmless species from New Zealand, that were provided by Landcare Research in Auckland. Despite their fierce appearance, this spider is a docile member of the crab spider family. It's funny, they did kind of crawl from side to side, kind of like a crab. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
They were not allowed back in New Zealand for quarantine reasons.
You've taken these spiders, now they're yours. That's got alarm bells ringing.
The giant spider used in the film was a species of bird-eating tarantula, which can attain a leg span of 8 inches or more. Those types of tarantulas are not easy to handle and can give a nasty bite. I'm assuming that's the queen, because Big Bob was animatronic. When Jeff Daniels came on board to play Dr. Ross Jennings, the film was a serious horror movie, one that Daniels told Philadelphia's Daily News was pretty formulaic. You could tell that the lines were kind of written by computer, he said. That's funny, foreshadowing AI and ChatGPT. He and Frank Marshall were hoping for a more iconic tone, so the script went through several revisions, and the filmmaker studied Alfred Hitchcock films and Jaws to get the tone right. One key change, Daniel's character was given a fear of spiders. We said during the watch along, by the way, that he explains the backstory of his arachnophobia. Yeah. That he was a baby and the spider crawled onto his leg and he was paralyzed with fear and he couldn't move, and from then on. But as I said during the watch along, it was enough that
he would have just
that
said,
he has a fear of spiders.
It's not an incredibly
it's not something that really needs explaining or justifying. To be honest,
Come on, we live in the country now. It's time to work through this irrational, paralyzing terror.
It's not irrational.
I know. The incident.
It's like it happened yesterday.
Russ, nobody remembers anything from when they were 2.
It's my first memory.
I can envision the crib all around me, clear as day. I can still feel the feeling of waking up, just drowsy, peaceful, secure, and then there it was.
Probably just a daddy long legs.
Yeah, well, it seemed huge, and it just came relentlessly, just crawling through the bars of the crib, and then as it touched my bare leg...
I know, you were just wearing a diaper.
All of my limbs involuntarily froze, just froze.
You're probably still half asleep is all.
I was paralyzed, Molly. I still get paralyzed, okay? Just please try to understand how this makes me feel. I was just physically unable to stop it from crawling along my naked skin. I can still feel its hairy little legs, just then up to my face. It's just a feeling of utter helplessness.
Yeah, I can't pinpoint a specific moment.
That's all.
What, where a spider really upset you? Or
where
it
in Hollywood,
your sort of evil villain origin?
That's the thing. In Hollywood movies, there's got to be an origin story. There's got to be one moment that creates, that kind of fear or whatever.
I think that was really unnecessary, specifically in this film, because it's such a common phobia that the idea of someone being afraid of spiders, I'm not demanding an explanation for it.
Yeah, I mean, you could have just established, like it had been already, that he's afraid of spiders rather than giving a whole backstory to it.
Because they're pretty icky.
Yeah. That I had a few shivers down my spine during that, but I hate cockroaches as well, and I never have a problem with the ending of Men in Black.
Again, I think the context is greatly important. When it's put into a setting of
aliens,
domestic. Yeah, you were talking about Indiana Jones. It's just a much more hyper realistic.
Yeah, you're being
a stylized sort of
right.
setting.
You're being taken to another world, basically.
It's a different context, like context and the music and the sort of vibe. It's all important.
Yeah. Original poster art features a spider dangling on a web string, silhouetted against the moon over the town at night. Oddly, the spider was absent for many years when the same artwork was featured on VHS and later DVD copies, taking away a key selling point of the film. It was restored on the 2012 Blu-ray release artwork, which is very amusing. It's like...
Why was that decision... Okay.
It's like taking King Kong off the cover of King Kong.
And just showing the Empire State Building.
Or Naomi Watts. Well, all right.
Well,
then.
no, that's a selling point.
That's all right. I'll do that. Going back to the beginning of the episode, Naomi Watts. Frank Marshall saved the shooting of the film's climactic fight between Jennings, played by Jeff Daniels, and the General until the very end of production, after all the other actors had been sent home. The scene, which... Oh, that's why there was nobody coming to his aid. We kept saying, like, where is everybody? Like, they were all running out of the house a second ago. He crashes through the floor. Nobody's coming to save him.
I believe I said something along the lines of they're having tea on the lawn.
Right. The scene, which involved fire, explosions, and many smashed bottles of fine wine... Yeah, that hurt. Took 2 weeks of 13-hour days to shoot. Daniel spent 2 of those days pinned under a 250-pound wine rack, hurtling bottles of wine at Big Bob, while under strict instructions to not hit the spider, and in fact always missing it by 3 feet or more. So, is that because the spider was real, or is it because it was animatronic and any liquid would damage it?
Yeah, it would have been expensive to replace it.
And that's kind of what happened with the animatronic T-Rex when they were shooting under all those, like, you know how in Hollywood they have the rain machines are really, really heavy so you can see the rain. Yeah. It's like ridiculously heavy. So the skin of the T-Rex was getting waterlogged, so it got really heavy and it was getting into the machinery and it was damaging it and whatever.
Interesting.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing as what happened with Bruce the Shark, because that was a huge animatronic, mechanical shark that had to be submerged in water, which, In the movie, Big Bob arrives in California and promptly mates with a house spider in a very erotic scene.
Very steamy.
Creating a super deadly offspring.
Skinamax.
Yes. Yeah. It would have been even funnier if the composer had put on like a kind of saxophone music. Yeah.
Would have been even funnier if one of them was wearing a spider-shaped negligee, wouldn't it?
To find the right arachnids for the job, Frank Marshall and his team evaluated a number of species, including wolf spiders, tarantulas, and huntsman spiders, by putting them through Spider Olympics, running each species through 10 tests, including speed, the faster the spider, the scarier it is, climbing ability, and reaction to heat and cold. The gold medalist, according to Frank Marshall, was the 3-inch wide Delana spider, a harmless but sinister-looking huntsman native to Australia that was introduced to New Zealand in the 1920s. Marshall joked that we got them all little passports, which was sort of true. The production did have to jump through hoops to bring 300 of the spiders to the US for filming, and that was just the initial shipment. Supplies were replenished every 2 weeks.
In order to find the right spider for our film, we had to put on sort of a Spider Olympics. And then we found the gold medalist, which is a Delana spider from New Zealand. And we got them all little passports, and they came over here to the United States, and they're now here working on the set, and they're very happy in their spider condo.
Well, isn't that adorable? Little passports for the little buggers.
It makes my negligee thing sound a little bit more plausible, doesn't it?
Well, that's it. That's my trivia. Do you have anything on the effects front? I think it's more or less...
It's all pretty practical.
Anyway, that's all I've got.
That's all I've got.
Yeah, that's all I've got. Well, it was nice doing this with you again. It's been 3 months.
It's been a while. I'll see you in 3 months.
Yeah, and I missed you. I missed you. Let's do it. Let's not wait so long before we do it again.
I hope not. I think that we've definitely proven that we do need to watch the movie and take notes.
Yeah, definitely. But also, we don't have to watch the movie together. I just thought it'd be cool to record this one
together.
Yeah, and record it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we've got...
That was a good movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I've got a few things, a list of things on the horizon that I'd like to do, but the Movie Tree guys have propositioned us, as it were. So we're thinking maybe we'll do a joint episode. Yeah, a crossover episode.
Yeah.
Which would be really fun. So look out for that. I hope it materializes, just like what's our Bond number.
Yeah. We hope it happens. We'll try and make it happen.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will bid you a farewell. Thank you for listening, and have a good one. We'll see you at the next one.
Goodbye,
in 2025. Happy New Year. Bye.
Bye. What's our seat number?